Hello guys, welcome back to Comic Book Cafe. Today we're reviewing Batman Volume 2, issue number 50. The one a lot of people are waiting for. That is the return of Bruce Wayne as Batman. And this issue doesn't even screw around. It's right at the very beginning, bam. You see Bruce Wayne looking at the Batsuit, becomes Batman off the bat. There is no long build up in this issue. It is bam, you see him at the very beginning. Obviously we get a newer Batsuit, gray, has some yellow, black. Again, a lot of traditional Batman suits, all kind of merged. Again, Batman traditionally has seemed to be traditionally blue, black, gray, yellow. Again, these are kind of traditionally, no matter how you change the Batsuit, those colors are basically kind of always around, and in this case, it's no different. Mainly kind of gray with black, but again, a tweaked version of the Batsuit for Batman. So, we see Bloom, who the enemy, of course, attacking and everything going haywire. We see Gordon completely messed up, spleen ruptured and hurting and everything else, and they're trying to get him out of there, and he doesn't want to leave because obviously, these people need his help. He's the new Batman in their armor, and Batman shows up, and he sees Batman, and they're friends. That's how it is. They're friends. They're talking. Batman makes a little market being, who told you could be Batman, kind of thing, and tells Gordon to get out of there because he's severely hurt. Right? He's bleeding. He's gonna die. They say he's gonna die in an hour. This is a comic book hour, not a reality hour. We'll get into that in a little bit. So, one of those things where if you read that and you actually check the comic book, you go, wait a minute, he said he had an hour, and it's okay. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so a lot of stuff happens in this book. It would take, this thing would be 15 minutes to describe everything. But basically, Bloom keeps attacking, keeps doing bad stuff. You see Batman and Gordon, dons his suit and tries to help in different ways, with the suit, without a suit, armor, tries to help. The police's armor is turned against the people because Bloom takes control of it. As the comic goes on, people see, hey, is that who I think it is? They see Batman in the air. Around, but it's about Gordon constantly getting messed up, but still trying to save people. So he just keeps getting messed up and won't stop. Batman has to fight. The Bloom makes this has this big armor show up that looks like the Joker and other stuff. Batman has a big armor that he attacks Bloom with. A lot of build up because they have this big energy bomb thing that'll just hurt people, wipe things out. And they have to stop it, and this is what the point of this build up to that. Then we have Duke Thomas, I believe is his name, who will be the new Robin, if you read this issue. Him and, of course, Daryl having a talk, and Duke figuring out who's responsible for kind of Bloom, or tied with it, and he tells him what happened, that he tried, he made this thing, and he tried it once, these people he picked out, it didn't work out. So this time around, he decided he'd try it again, and to pick people who he didn't know, who were homeless or nobody knew. So he does not know the identity who the Bloom guy is, who gained these abilities. That he, again, Daryl was originally Bloom without these crazy powers that this one has. He did because of Joker and other stuff. He did it to try to protect people. But again, the difference between good and evil is you always perceive you're doing good, but you're actually doing evil when a lot of these guys are evil. And he talked about how one day, he looked at Bloom, the guy took his mask, and all of a sudden, things got out of control. And so, Bloom is fighting, Gordon, and he's fighting Batman, and you see Batman and Gordon's relationship go along. This book is really long. There's a lot of awesome artwork in it. There's a lot of things that happen. But ultimately, Batman and Gordon defeat Bloom using the it's basically a bat magnet. Anyway, they ultimately beat Bloom. Bloom's defeated. And then we see at the very end, basically, Bruce Wayne, you see Duke with his parents who have been affected by toxin and stuff in early issues, and they're all not there anymore, and he's sitting there crying, and Bruce Wayne shows up, basically has an offer for him. So I'm leading to believe that he'll be the new Robin. It's pretty obvious he'll be the new Robin. At least till Rebirth, which happens in, was it July? June? which I'm going to be honest, I'm not exactly excited that they're rebooting everything all over again. They're basically going issue number 1 with everything then and then starting over again, which again, after 6 years in what's known as the New 52, it seems kind of pointless. After 6 years, you're throwing it all away, and now you're rebooting again. What that rebirth means, who knows? New universe, old universe, who knows? But it seems kind of weird. You did 6 years, and now you're. This is a trend in comics that I'm not a fan of. Is constantly rebooting comic books to issue number 1 and starting over again. It loses its specialness. Number 1, when you constantly reboot books all the time, especially established characters, right? We know what Batman is. Just go with it. We know what this is. Just go with it. You don't have to reboot everything. Despite my issues with Marvel over a lot of things, Secret Wars reboot wasn't really massive. It was tweaking things. Overall, the history was still there, not thrown in the garbage, which I appreciate. The reason I didn't like the New 52, for example, was it took all the several decades of history and just threw it on the garbage can and started the universe over again, when there could have been other ways they could have done that. Have a new, younger character, modernized character without actually, throwing it all the history away. But they did. So anyway, we got Rebirth coming up, and we'll just have to wait and see. Here soon, at the end of the week, they're going to finally at least give us details about that. But then at the very end, we have a girl, a redheaded girl, who sits there and says Batman, and she looks at a brick and it says Bruce Wayne. And as she looks at the brick at the very end, you hear Gordon say, you're Batman. The rest of us are just trying to, basically trying to figure out a way to, let people know we were here. It was a really good book, truthfully. It was really long, but really good. It sometimes felt like it could have been 2 separate issues, but it was a lot of fighting in this book and a lot of, relationship between Batman and Gordon. And one thing I did not like about this book, truthfully, is the fact that when it's all near the end, when it's all said and done, people in charge said, okay, that's it. We're done with our police Batman program. He's Batman now. Forget it. It's all scrapped. So you wasted all that time and energy and you're going to scrap it. It kind of seemed a mute point. Like, you had this whole year-long thing, and all of a sudden Batman shows up and you're going to throw it all away. To me, storyline-wise, let's talk about using stuff for storylines. It would have been interesting for me to either A, they keep the Bat-Arm around, being that they don't trust the vigilante Batman, because one, he disappeared once, and they don't believe in his methods, so there'll be like 2 conflicting Batman, at least at the beginning, right? 2 conflicting Batman doing their jobs differently. Like, the police Batman obviously trying to capture upper hand, not kill or anything, and the regular vigilante Batman, right? It can be interesting to see them both going after the same criminal and see them, not be working together and see how that worked out. Or the other thing would have been, which I think would ultimately happen, either with the police Batman staying, would have been to do the whole public perception, because obviously, because this issue, Bloom takes control of their bat armors and does bad stuff to people, public perception's against them, and you kind of have hearings ultimately due to political and other stuff, they shut the program down, but slowly shut it down so that you don't just do it right away. Like, you could have had interesting storylines gone on with this, or have Gordon as Batman for the police and have him and Bruce Wayne Batman kind of have issues because, again, they're not seeing everything eye to eye. But it was like, oh, we're done. It kind of threw away potential storylines, which happens a lot in certain times in comic books these days, and it's one I'm kind of not entirely a fan of. But this was a good book. If you like Batman, if you like Gordon, if you like the relationship, this was a good book. It was one of the longer comic. It was almost like a double-sided issue comic book, really, because it was really long, but it was really good. Again, this was not a book. If you had missed the whole Gordon storyline, you were going to be lost reading this issue. But if you're in it if you didn't want to read the Gordon Batman, you only wanted Bruce Wayne, and you're coming back, you can just look at the regular Bruce Wayne Batman and kind of ignore the James Gordon Batman because he's going away, kind of thing. But I like the art in this book. Bloom is definitely a different kind of Batman villain, at least in my eyes. Again, I'm not a Batman fanatic. I haven't read everything, so for me it seemed like a different villain than what I'm used to with Batman. But it was rather interesting. Anyway, what do you guys think of Batman Volume 2, Issue 50? Now that we got Bruce Wayne going forward, where are they going to go? Because again, we only have so long before Rebirth. And Duke, and how is that relationship going to build? Like, is Rebirth going to be a minor tweak? Because I already know Duke's days are numbered already if he's Robin, because the Rebirth showed traditional looking Robin, and so makes you wonder, right? But it was interesting again. It made me kind of interested to see how Duke is, like what kind of Robin he would be. Hopefully we get that in the future, or how him and Bruce Wayne as Batman and Robin is going to work. Anyway, let me hear your guys' opinions like always. Did you like the book, not like the book? Thought I went too long? Something about you didn't like, did like? Let me hear your guys' opinions. I'll make another review soon. Again, this is a book if you're a fan of Batman to read. If you're someone looking to jump into the series, I don't know if this was the book. Again, if you're going to read just for, you might just want to read it and look at Bruce Wayne stuff and ignore the other stuff that's going away. Or it might be the next issue might be the chance to jump in. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, later guys.